Yes, good evening to everybody. I suppose everyone is here. Apologies for the 10-minute delay. So we're starting class roughly 10 minutes from the original schedule due to unexpected technical difficulties. So if everyone can see, perhaps you could just like raise a thumbs up so I could kind of monitor everybody more or less. With your signal, I suppose we can go start. Okay. If everybody's ready, then we're gonna start. So you can hear me properly. Your audio and video are okay. So yeah. Okay. So thank you very much. And again, I'm sorry for the delay. It's my first time essentially first time in the business and first time to have my Zoom class. And so I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. It's good to see everybody, well, the photos and the names. As you know, we are recording this session and essentially those, and I suppose the number now is practically almost everyone, essentially except for one person who wrote me who would not be able to join us because of a power outage of some sort. But in any case, I think it's good a start and presence as we can get for our first session. So welcome and thank you very much for your interest in this class. And we are now, this is essentially class OLL7, and we are now experiencing week 1, session 1 of Philippine Foreign Policy, or PHIFOCY. And this happens to be, as you know, the first synchronous sessions, the first of 7 that I intend to hold until the end of our term, right down in the middle of December 2020. So as the first lecture, I intend to not only give you an overview of our course, perhaps you've gotten a little bit of that in the introduction video, as well as the initial lesson proper. And I hope you can bear with me so that I can get the kinks out at the very least. Maybe things will improve. Definitely things will improve as the term goes along. And apart from introducing the class, I'd also like to connect with you and have a shared understanding more or less of how I would like to conduct the classes, getting of course feedback from you guys in this period of the new normal. Everyone refers to a new normal, which will extend not only for this term, but the entire trimester, the duration of the academic year. Now, as you know, we're now, actually, I think it was a few days ago that we passed the 6-month mark. And apart from the 6-month mark of this forced break, most of us were, we had to take and that we had to endure under the quarantine. I suppose, as I can imagine, most of us had to make a significant physical, mental, social, logistical, and even environmental adjustments due to the pandemic. I can imagine all of you, being students as you are, living in every day in close quarters with the same individuals, more often than not, of course, members of your own family, who, I don't know, depending on your family, maybe you may or may not have spent as intense a time together in a enclosed space intensely with only the briefest or the most minimal of pauses, because we are not always able to go out, especially under the extended general quarantine, even down to the modified extended community quarantine. It's only now in the general community quarantine, or perhaps in other places in the Philippines that are not as afflicted by the virus, the modified general community quarantine, that you're able to go out and have a semblance of some kind of normality. But it's of course still far from being normal. And as I mentioned earlier on, that you guys have been, at least for the most part of the 6 months that we have had to go through this self-isolation or containment, that we have had at least some kind of experience, perhaps growing closer to our families, and that's the good of it. but also there may not be some good out of this experience. Some of us who perhaps live close to the campus here at Benilde in the Malate area, in the neighborhood, or perhaps within a short commuting distance, most likely you are now back to your homes, whether you are in Manila, within the metropolis, in the suburbs, or perhaps in the provinces. And as I understand, looking at the class list, we do have even some of our students who are not from the Philippines. I don't know if that means that you're actually taking in this session from the country where you're in right now, your country of origin. So in that case, well, a shout out to all the students who are not from the Philippines. But as you can imagine, all of us scattered all around the world, me right here smug and a bit snug in an apartment here right in front of De La Salle campus. And just so that we could actually get here to the point, well, 10 minutes late, as I mentioned, to our first Zoom synchronous session, we have had to endure a lot of things and to do a lot of preparation. Some of you may even have had to upgrade your learning resources, not just the usual laptop that you probably use mostly for music, watching movies, or in class, preparing for your PowerPoint presentations or word processing. You've had to perhaps add some apps or in general, even memory, just to make sure that you're tip-top. Make sure, of course, that your internet connection is stable and that you have all the adequate peripherals to run perhaps more than just one screen, or at least have a cell phone and your laptop and whatnot. So as you can imagine, what I'm trying to say is that we've all had to make some kind of adjustments, maybe even secure, if you don't have it yet, your own quiet place where you can have at least a synchronous session where you're not going to have extraneous noise and it's not going to be too much trouble or too bothersome, so you can concentrate on the things I'm saying. And while we can imagine some upsides, like for me, I can imagine that living in Manila, at least experiencing the traffic, if you're not actually in the neighborhood, would mean hours. It could be even hours trying to get to the Benilde area. Or even if you were here, just attending the classes at the main campus and then some of the other classes in the nearby campuses, you've had to, of course, go through the rains, the afternoon rains, or the intermittent flooding, and that's not very pleasant. So I can imagine you being just at home, maybe even in your home clothes, very comfy and with your snack and maybe something to drink. So there are upsides to this entire calamity of the coronavirus. But in general, the experience has been almost short of traumatic for a lot of people. And academic life, as I can imagine, right now under quarantine is not really typical. It actually takes away a lot of the best parts of your college years, especially that aspect of being able to make friends, to socialize with the friends that you do have among your peers, and just interacting with people, with professors, even non-teaching staff at Benilde, or the regular people you meet randomly, and when you go out and eat and or have the services around the campus. And so this is really far from what we would consider as normal. I myself, speaking from my experience, in my regular day job, I have been working from home essentially for the entire period of from, I suppose, March 15 when it all started. WFH, as we call it in normal and typical coronavirus parlance. So as you can imagine, the impact on me personally has been minimal. So it's just that little bit of self-isolation, away from family and not being able to see too many people. But apart from that, everything has been okay. Everything has been not really topsy-turvy, but peachy keen, as you can say. And what I'm only trying to get used to is, I guess, I had to learn from scratch on how to become an instructor here in at Benilde and teaching this class. So as you have seen from the initial minutes that I had to get on, have this session live, and you all listening to me, I suppose it won't be repeated in the next sessions from here on. But we are kind of in the same boat, but at the same time, me being an, an instructor with first-time experience, you can actually say that you guys in your sophomore year, I can imagine sophomore year or in junior year, perhaps having more experience in the Benilde system. So in that sense, actually, having a bit of disadvantage or advantage all mixed together, I suppose we're in the same boat. And we're all trying to make sense of the current situation. And of course, as I can imagine also, we're all trying to make the best of it. So there are no guarantees that everything will go according to plan, but I do hope that we will all try our best and help each other to make this whole process, at the very least, less painful for each other and maybe even a little bit enjoyable. So let's see how it goes. Now, so with that as an introduction, I'd like to get now into at least conceptualization of the lesson as I've mentioned to you. As you have perhaps heard and seen from the video that I recorded, and I expect all of you to have seen before coming into today's class, we are going to cover quite a lot in this term and even just with this starting session. Normally it should be all of 90 minutes, but let's see if we can get it down to a little slightly less than that, because as I understand it, these Zoom sessions can be a lot tiring, not just for me, but I'm sure for you guys staying up after 7:30 all the way up to 9 o'clock. But I will try within this first session and of course in the coming weeks to help you understand and get a good grasp of the topic or the subject you've signed up for, which is Philippine foreign policy. And it's indeed an honor for me to lead or facilitate, as I'd like calling it, facilitate this course, which is intended to introduce to you the theoretical framework of the foreign policy process. And of course, walk you through the different aspects of it, including the practical, so that you get a whole picture. So the initial part, of course, of today should answer the question, how foreign policy is made and the process by which it is made. So I will devote this first synchronous session, and then perhaps through the readings that we will have in the Synchronous in week 2. And then, of course, to give you a fuller idea on how foreign policy is made and the process by which it is made. So we will follow the steps from agenda setting throughout this course and its drafting. This is the part that I'd like to call the formulation stage. And as well as the next stage, which is called the execution, which we could perhaps put together in the implementing part and the evaluation adaptation part, where in fact you go and look at the policy you had just implemented and try to make sure that it's actually implemented in the right way in the environment and in the situation that you had envisioned for it. So intrinsic to this entire foreign policy process are the actors involved, the people who not only implement the policy and also the actors. When I say actors, they're also not just individual people. It could be like states. It could be organizations, and also the states and the individuals and the organizations, whether they are actually state or non-state, who are affected by this foreign policy. So these are basically what we would call in international relations parlance, the actors, people who are acting by which they're either the subject or the object of the actions. And in this case, it's foreign policy. So later in the session today, we also discuss various concepts and terminologies relating to foreign policy, and one of its key components, the conduct of diplomacy. So there is a relation and between foreign policy and diplomacy. It's not one and the same thing, and I'll try to clarify that a little bit later in some slides that I'm going to present to you, and of course give you as a handout for greater clarity, and so you can review it again without disruption. I need all of you to be on board from the very first session, and of course clarify whatever concepts that may not be too clear, so that we are all going together hand in hand in this particular journey throughout the course. And I also aim to discuss with you the methods and approaches. In other words, the tools or the instruments that states use, and again, I'm referring to the state as the major or principal actor, that states use in crafting and in developing their foreign policy. We will also delve into the primary consideration of or input to the foreign policy, and to understand the factors and elements of this process that influence foreign policy outcomes. So the input is essentially what we would call national interest. There are other factors, and I will explain it to you a little bit later. And then, of course, after that, the factors and elements that would affect the result, or what we would call the outcome. So you have the input and you have the output or the outcomes. Now, of course, those are all theoretical, and that's always the first stage or the first part that we have to get into, so that at least you have a firm basis in the further discussions of this subject. So following this theoretical discussion, and that, as you can imagine, would be the pattern we will go by, is essentially there'll be theory, the discussion of theory, and then followed with examples, illuminations, illustrations, and applications, so that you have a better idea of perhaps a nebulous theory or nebulous concept may not be so easily understood all in and of itself, but at least by giving these examples and illustrations, you'd be able to follow through in your complete comprehension. So I aim to give you concrete examples demonstrating how the theoretical framework is applied specifically, of course, to the topic at hand, which is the Philippines. There's the bigger picture of foreign policy theoretically, but there's Philippine foreign policy, which is the subject, the main object of our course. And by going over certain practices of the Philippines in the way it exercises its foreign policy, I'd like you to form a better insight into the importance of foreign policy formulation, implementation, evaluation, and all that for the country, for the nation, namely the government and the people, the Filipinos who comprise this nation, and in adapting and even rising above the global challenges that we face. And of course, we will also have to give examples what these challenges are. Quite obvious for the meantime, of course, is the coronavirus, the idea that a pandemic could actually be very disruptive to not only domestically, but also the way we conduct foreign policy, how we relate to other countries. So there should be the interaction and the dynamic between what we do domestically, where you are most affected because we live inside the Philippines, or at least most of us do, and how, for example, we are able to use foreign policy and at least maybe helping the domestic situation, and in a way getting a little bit more tools so that we can improve the situation domestically. It could also be a way of power projection among different things that this dynamic between domestic and international could actually present. So in any case, all of those things I will walk you through or go facilitate so that you would be able to understand much better. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, we will have 7 sync sessions in the form of lectures, mainly lectures and class presentations. As I mentioned perhaps earlier to you, it'll be 90 minutes maximum. I think that's what the guidelines are. And I hope to really condense the lectures and class presentations in the shortest possible, so that you could actually just perhaps devote more time to your readings in the synchronous sessions. So anyway, these lectures I hope will equip you in the theoretical underpinnings, basically the basis of, in theory, of what foreign policy is. And not only that, in the practical application of how these theories can be used to evaluate and assess the current issues that we face in the political, international political, social, economic arena. I suppose it's very easy to understand, of course, the borderline between domestic and international. There is also the physicality of it when you are physically inside the country and outside. So physically, when you're inside, that's domestic. And when you're outside of it, that's international. That's very clear. And of course, I will elaborate on that later on this session. But it's all complicated because of globalization, because of, how would you say, telecommunications, where we are now within, for example, the very confines of the space we're in. Like for me, inside my dwelling place, I'm able to connect internationally outside the country. Like in the Zoom session we have, perhaps with some of the participants who are not in the Philippines, or definitely even domestically, of course, not just in Manila. Domestically, we're talking on a national level, but internationally, beyond that, in a session like this, you also engage in some kind of international relations, just in international commerce. For example, in the way you purchase or buy something from essentially from, say, like Lazada or Shopee, and that's essentially the extension of international relations. So in any case, I will elaborate a little bit more on what is the difference between international relations, or how it correlates with foreign policy. And then earlier on, I mentioned diplomacy. These are all the key terms, basic terms and phrases and concepts that I'd like to for you to get a better grasp of later on. But for now, I'll just give a fuller idea of how I'd like to conduct the sessions outside the sync sessions, as I mentioned to you. Well, of course, the sync sessions should also be an opportunity for all of you to basically listen. Theoretically, it should be interactive, even though right now I can only see your photos and your names. But basically, it should be interactive. So I'll try to get more elements of interactiveness in our synchronous sessions. And I do hope you feel comfortable enough to actually break out of your shells. It's definitely understandable that at the moment, it's easy to actually just have our mics muted and, of course, not have our videos on. And you do have the right to actually have those turned off. But eventually, and this is going to be purely voluntary, is that I hope you feel comfortable enough through our discussions in all communication streams that we have to actually and also if your internet connection allows it, to have a bit more interaction. We'll try to see in what way we can arrange that. But I can see the sync sessions as a real-time opportunity to expound, elaborate, and flesh out the basis of the course that we have. So for me to develop and explain the key theories and current international issues through, as I mentioned earlier on, specific examples, even case studies in the materials that I will give to you through the handouts or readings or viewings in YouTube at the end of or in between the sync session. So as you can imagine now, we have the sync sessions, which are supposed to be more interactive, where you can ask questions and we can clarify things. And you have the async sessions where you're supposed to build up on your own knowledge in your own time, of course, within a set agreed period of time to finish the classes before we have the sessions. Since the sessions are basically just once a week, you should be able to pick up after a week's worth of given time for you to finish the readings and the viewings and the handouts. Now, the asynchronous sessions by themselves should give you the time to devote yourselves to activities as I mentioned, it would be alternating weeks. We have 14 weeks, and I aim to, as I've already given in Big Sky, week 1, we would have the synchronous, week 2 would be the asynchronous, week 3 synchronous again, so on and so forth. So in alternating weeks, you should be able to, and of course there's also the synchronous that I expect for you to have after the synchronous session of a maximum of 90 minutes. And I hope that you would be able to use these sessions essentially in the alternating weeks, basically a ratio of 25% synchronous and 75% asynchronous. So you use this time to build up your basic understanding from what we would have in our lectures. And in case you still have some gaps in your understanding from the assigned topics, I'd like you to use sync sessions to think up of whatever questions you would like to ask or clarify. Like you read the readings, they may connect in some ways, and you feel that, yeah, on week 2, you're definitely on board, on the same page with me in what I want to show you for week 2. However, if there's some disconnect or whatsoever, please feel free, don't hesitate to, whatever question it may be, take a note of it and just prepare, and you can actually use this particular opportunity to write me an email, shoot me an email, contact me in the consultation hours, which I've already given you. And if your questions are actually quite common, and that maybe in that sense, actually, I'm not making myself rather clear, I would also make time out in the next session, if it's vital enough, for us to answer those questions and cover them so that to keep you updated and at least up to speed in the lectures that we're trying to do week in, week out. So of course, schedule and time permitting, because we do have to always also follow the syllabus, which I've also put out, which shows you from week 1 to week 14, week 15 being your, I think the last week, but given that, and I'll give you a bit of housekeeping later on and what I expect and assessments. Basically, for your other subjects, you would probably have some assessments, but for us, it's basically running for 14 weeks. So I would prefer, after the synchronous, then you've got the asynchronous. When we have the next next synchronous, the sync session, I'd like to devote a bit of time. I can't tell you yet how much it is, but in general, around 10-15 minutes. It could be shorter, longer, depending on how many questions you ask, depending on how the syllabus goes also, for us to clarify. And anyway, through these, this pattern, this exercise, I hope you are able to learn how to analyze at the end of it current events. So say like when you read the news, you read on the internet, or say like you watch on TV, some kind of news that pops up on international affairs, what action our government has taken, whether it's our Secretary of Foreign Affairs who's taken it through a tweet, or maybe the president making through a press conference, a news conference. You'd be able to understand, or at least contextualize, why the Philippines took that action, in a way justify in your mind, if you're Filipino, or if you're not Filipino, understand at the very least why the Philippines is taking such action. It could be vis-a-vis your country, it could be vis-a-vis the UN system or ASEAN. Have an understanding why that is, at least from the perspective of at least from the Philippines. And at least when you have that understanding, you're able to not only better predict, even formulate your own set of guidelines or limitations or factors, so as you can expect what the Philippines would do in the future should this situation develop. So that is basically what we're trying to achieve here at the end of the term. And I'd be very happy if you get that basic understanding to analyze current events from the perspective of Philippine foreign policy, and in complement with the other courses that you're taking in diplomacy, consular and diplomatic relations, diplomatic affairs. So we will definitely clarify, as I mentioned to you, some basic key concepts later on. But I think it comes now to me at this part of the lecture to at least introduce one of those topics. And I would think, let's see if I could get on to one of the, okay, well, in any case, we will go to that particular slide later, but I would just like to basically dive into one of those terms, basic terms. And at this point, we definitely need to ask, what is foreign policy? I don't know if you've actually taken a different class that answers this question, since all of you are in CDA, the bachelor program that you're all in. But just for this particular class, we could start with, put rather simply, foreign policy refers to how a government or a state deals with other states or other countries or other governments. So while I use these terms loosely, I'm going to explain a little bit later the differences between state, country, and nation. or government. But in any case, foreign policy describes the approaches or actions taken by, let's just make it a government, to safeguard the interests of the country and its citizens beyond the borders of that state. So essentially, you have the government as the main actor. And of course, under the government, you have the people, the citizens of that state. And essentially, foreign policy, since we're talking about policy, then it's official. Then it's taken by that government vis-a-vis in relation with other governments, which is basically governing other states. And those actions are in line, consistent with the national interests in order to safeguard the interests of the country and the citizens beyond its borders. So foreign policy can also be described as a set of goals that seek to outline how a particular country will interact. Like in a way, as you can imagine, people like you with your friends. So say like every individual is autonomous and you have your own freedom to decide, to think, to consider, and also to act. So basically within that, you can kind of liken governments or states as individuals having that autonomy, or what we would call international relations terms, sovereignty, to basically behave and basically have a set of actions. And of course, a set of objectives in why, for example, or how you would like to act or conduct yourself towards one particular country or other countries in general, and how you interact with them on an official basis in the globe, in the world, in the setting. So the setting, our environment, is basically the international system. It's the planet, it's the globe, it's the world where we're in now. And while we take the actors to be mainly state to state, government to government, or nation to nation, it could also be government or non-state. It could be non-government. It could be in non-government organizations, for example, or government organizations, but they take on their own personality, as we call it. Personality in international relations refer to that particular legal status of what states have. But basically, that's what you call personality in international relations, where a state can actually deal, because it has sovereignty, with other nations. And in so doing, the state monitors and evaluates an extra range of factors relating to other states, including what kind of factors? Economic, political, social, military, in order to maximize the benefits of those interactions, and whether they take place, again, as I mentioned, between two states, which what we call bilateral relations, or between or among a number of states, which we can call multilateral relations. Now, this is actually foreign policy, and so we've kind of cleared that, and I'd like to go back to that a little bit later on. And essentially, before we continue, and I think I'm looking at the time here, I'd like to devote a little bit more time to I'd like to devote a little bit more time to what I mentioned and perhaps warned all of you about. And I think this is the time for all of you to unmute your mics. And I'd like to call on, yes, I think this is the time where we can, given the time, perhaps you could just shorten your self-introduction, but I'd still like to know each one of you. We wouldn't have a comprehensive way of I think today, in this particular Synchronous session, is the one time that we would have for you to actually take the floor. So I'd like to do this by asking for volunteers. If not, I am going to perhaps call on you. First of all, if anyone wants to volunteer, I'd be very glad. Essentially, if you can volunteer. Any volunteers? No volunteers. So let's go now with, sorry, if there are no volunteers, I'm gonna run through the class list. The class list, where is the class list? So let's go with this basically class 7, where are you? Now I'd like to call on, let's see, I'd like to call on, is Josville Dowsin here? Erica Dowsin, is Erica here? You can unmute. I'd like, so the whole system here is that It says here 2 minutes, but you could do 1 minute. What I'd like you to do is perhaps give me not what you'd like to be called, a little bit of background, where you're from, and essentially, yeah, that's it. Something that you'd like to say apart from those two basic information. How old are you? So I can have an idea also if where are you, what year you are now in Benilde, and essentially we'll spin the wheel and perhaps ask a bonus question. I've heard that. Wait one moment. I'm going to increase the volume. It seems that I'm not being heard. But in any case, yeah, I'd like to invite Erica, perhaps, to start off with. And we're going
Hi,
to run
sir.
through the list. Yeah. Hi, Erica. How are you doing?
Hi. Hi, everyone. Good evening po. I am Josville Erica S. de Usin, but you can call me Josville. I am 21 years old, and I'm from San Pablo City, Laguna. And fortunately, I got the honor scholarship this college. During this quarantine, I try to be still productive by helping my mom doing household chores, and I'm focusing on the virtual term. And currently, I'm also tutoring kids here with their online classes. So I expect po, my expectations from this class is that I learn comprehensively, especially when it comes to the foreign policy formulation and its implementation, and how these policies can influence or affect the condition and interest of the Philippines in the international economy. And also, sir, I hope that you will be more considerate, especially that we are now in an online term. So that's all po.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Erica. Would you like to? Definitely, I'll definitely be considerate. We will consider, I suppose, this whole term as a kind of test, an experiment, and um, I would like to see you most of all, just to make that very clear. I'd like to see most of you actually to make that effort. But as long as you're giving me an effort, don't worry, I'll be considerate. But spin the wheel, Erica. Just one bonus question for you. Okay, I don't see actually where it's going. Where is it? A book. Any favorite book you'd like to recommend, Erica?
Mm, I think 13 Reasons Why, sir.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that book. What's 13
Okay.
Reasons Why? Just one sentence. What is it in one sentence, if you can describe it?
Certain Reasons Why. It's about a girl who committed suicide.
Very dark.
But yeah, but the thing is, the people around her, like her classmates, professors, um, made their realizations in the end
Yeah.
how important she is in the school.
Okay. So yeah, that's why you want to recommend it. Very good. Thanks very much, Erica. And
Thank you, sir.
congratulations on the scholarship.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Any volunteers? I'm likely to pick a guy next. Maybe some guy would volunteer before being called. Is who is it? Who's
Evan Feliciano.
Evan? Okay, I'm looking at the list now. Hi, Evan. How are you doing? Everything good? Uh,
Hi,
don't
sir.
don't spin the wheel yet. You have to introduce yourself first.
Oh. Hi, everyone. My name is Evan Inri Feliciano, but you can just call me Evan Urbino for short. Um, One fact about me is that after college, I want to pursue law school, but not necessarily work for the government. More on a corporate law. And then my hobbies include reading books, especially in the quarantine. I've been I already found the book that um would somehow give me an inspiration. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Um, That's good. I like your name. What does sorry, that's not actually the question for spin the wheel. What's your
Yes,
name?
sir.
Inri. What is it?
Ah,
Inri. It's because
yeah.
it's very Catholic. It's very what is that what it means? Jesus Lord of the Lord King of the Jews, is it?
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, my name is completely based on Catholicism. Evan is a mixture of Eva and Adan,
Oh, very
and then yeah, sir, and then Inri Jesus Nazareno Siriodorium Rex, which
right.
is the
In
King of the
Latin,
Jews.
right?
Yes,
Excellent.
sir.
Your parents must be very devout. You want to spin the wheel?
Sure, sir.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Don't say this one, okay? You can't. I'm not gonna give you extra points.
Um,
You what you've
my
taken, yeah, what you've taken in the past.
in the past, but I currently have a favorite class right now, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I have actually enrolled in international political economy. I'm
Oh,
really
nice.
interested in that subject because it tries to understand the importance, the role of politics and economic processes in understanding and addressing social issues, very complex social issues.
Yeah.
That's why I would really like to um that that's my favorite class.
Very good. No, props to you. I actually, well, I don't know her personally, but yeah, the teacher is the prof there is wonderful. I heard. Okay, so thanks very much, Evan. Next, I'd like to call on is Joshua here. Is Joshua here?
Yes. Hi,
Hi,
sir.
Joshua. Good evening. Everything
Good
good?
evening po, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay. So good evening po, everyone. Good evening, sir. I'm Agape Joshua Lopez. You can call me Agape.
Oh,
So right now, I'm currently in my province, and I've been here. Oh,
yeah. We can hear you.
okay. Okay, sir. So I've been here since March, since the start of the lockdown. And a brief background about myself is I did not expect that I would be here right now because I I wanted um I wanted to take a business course, and then I even took the NC3 examination. This is in relation to accountancy, and then yeah, I don't know. It was my parents who decided for me to take this path that I'm on right now, and so yeah, that's it. Boss.
Okay. Well, if your parents actually did that and you're being the obedient or filial child, we'll make sure that at least it's worth your while. Okay. Spin the wheel. Agape is a good
Okay.
name. Yeah, Agape.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where do I see myself in 10 years? I think I'll always try to become a better version of myself. I don't really know what's gonna happen, sir, but I'm like, will I say like a job, sir, or something, or
Yeah. Anything. I hope it's not grim. Okay. But anything. Say like 10 years from now. I know we have a lot of problems, coronavirus and everything, climate change,
okay,
even,
sir.
but personally,
Um,
not globally. Yeah.
okay. I think I see myself in 10 years, probably just handling my parents' businesses, something like that. So yeah, then that's it.
Okay. Is that something you'd like to do, or is that because your parents want you to?
Mostly my parents, sir.
Okay.
But if you're gonna ask me, I think, sir, I don't know. I don't really have something planned for me right now, sir. I'm still thinking, sir.
No worries, no worries, no hurry. To be honest,
Yes, sir.
you're 20, right? How old are you now? 21?
Yes, sir. I'm 20, 20, sir. 20.
20, to be 20, you have to be, you have to be this age, and you just have to, there's no hurry, to be honest.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
you just have to
Yes, sir.
spend the time understanding the world you're in and all that. So I think, you're going to discover
sir.
that in the coming years. Yeah. So very good.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. After Agape, who would like to go next for volunteers? And this is it. That's actually one of the things I'd like you to develop. Initiative is a good thing to develop. Perhaps somebody would like to go after Agape. Mizpa, is Mizpa Shariz Bonko? Are you here? No? I'd like to call on Justine Berbigal.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Hi, Justine. Justine is fine.
Hi. Yes, sir. Actually, you can call me Burbs. That's
Okay.
my nickname
Burbs.
from my last name. Yeah.
Okay. I'll try to note.
ID.
Okay, go.
I'm sorry, sir.
No, go.
Okay, so ID 118, 21 years old. What else? Ano po bang infos?
Hobbies, just anything you feel you want, because this is the chance. I'm sure you don't know everyone 100% in class. If there's something that you want to kind of communicate in this age where we actually don't communicate very easily virtually or online, as long as your personality comes out, it's good.
Well, actually, sir, this lockdown, I don't mind it that much because I'm really not that extrovert type of a person. I don't usually go out with friends or hang out with people. So this is not a big of a problem for me, or isolation is not a big of a problem because I just rather watch Netflix and stay inside the whole day. So there.
Okay. Well, hey, I mean, I'm not a Netflix fiend, but if that's what rocks your boat, yeah, no, that's good. I'm a kind of halfy extrovert introvert. What's the term? Ambivert, I think, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, good. No, I mean, to each his own. So yeah, you want to spin the wheel?
Sure, sir.
Verbs. Nice nickname.
Yes, sir.
It's a big if. If you could, or maybe even would like to work in government.
The branch of government that I would love to work with probably would be Department of Education, because I believe that education is very vital in everyone's life, and this should be um, this should be the branch that the government should focus on and try to improve more.
Okay. No, me too. I do think of the salutary, rather even comprehensive possibilities of education, and I do think we need it right now. So compliments there. That's very noble. Thanks very much, Burb.
Sure,
Now,
sir,
I'd like to call for volunteers, but what we would do now, looking at the time, is that to probably just, depending on how much self-introduction you have, either you could go for the wheel or not go for the wheel. If we don't go for the wheel, at least everybody will be able to speak today. So who would be next, or shall I call? Sorry, Mizpa, would you like to be up next? Microphone? Okay. You're not getting through.
Me?
Okay, you're good. You're good.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Miss Charis Bongko. You can call me Miss. I'm 20 years old and I'm currently having a small business right now. And my plan after I graduate is to pursue law or to to start at the bottom, like working the government in the local government units, especially in my province, sir, Bataan.
Are you in Bataan right now?
Yes, sir. I am, sir.
Very good.
I'm so sorry, sir, because kakaulan lang po, kaya po masyado pong unstable con.
No worries, no worries. No, it's good to volunteer. As I
Okay, sir.
mentioned earlier on, that's a good sign of initiative.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So thanks very much, Ms. Yeah, you sound like the what's that? The musical Les Mis. Okay, not funny, not funny. Who's up next? Is Danica here? Is Danica here? Let's have Danica and then next one, Maria Alyssa. Okay? So Danica first.
Hi, sir. My name is Rina Danica Gansaya, but you can call me Nika.
Sorry, how's that? How's that again? Your Nika. Okay.
Nika.
Okay, got it.
And yeah, I'd rather spin the wheel, sir.
What about your introduction? It's gone. That's it. How old are you again?
ID 118, and I'm 25 years old.
Okay.
This is my I'm a transferee.
Okay. You'd rather spin the wheel. Okay. You don't see. There's even a blank. You have to say. Talk more about your. Where are you from? Where are you now? Where are you now in?
I'm in Cavite, sir.
Okay. Is that where your parents are? Your parents live there, right?
Oh, my parents live abroad. I'm staying with the family.
Okay. So there you've got spin the wheel and you've got one question. Same as I think Agape.
I think, sir, favorite subject class I've taken was ASEAN. I really enjoyed ASEAN, especially my professor,
Oh yeah, he's good.
Ambassador.
You know him.
Yeah,
Who's your professor?
Ambassador Rueca
Oh,
for
okay.
ASEAN.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. And how long ago was that class you took?
Last term, just last term.
I've not worked with her, but I've met her. She's a wonderful person. So I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed her class. Nika.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you as well. So we're going with next one is Alisa, is it?
Hi, sir. Good
Hi,
evening.
Alisa. Good evening.
I'm Maria Alyssa Arian Victoria, but my close friends from CSG calls me Aya, just for very short name. Um, lately, during this lockdown, I've been doing a lot of Pilates and yoga,
Okay.
just for me to practice my flexibility. And I'm also 30 years old and ID 118 transferee from Adamson, and I used to take Bachelor of Science majoring in architecture.
Oh, but you're now CDA, right?
Yes, po.
You want to be a diplomat in the future?
Originally, it was my mom's plan, but when I entered CDA, I started to appreciate the course, and now I'm loving it.
Oh, very good. Very good. Architecture is a lot of time, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Advertising architecture, you basically run through 80-hour weeks basically if you work in that field. So
Yes, sir.
Aya, you very interestingly, all your names are actually first names.
Yes, sir.
First name.
My dad named me after a lot of characters.
Oh, very good. Ariadne is a Greek character.
Yes, sir. But it also means the most holy one in Catholic.
Oh, very good. I didn't know that. So okay. Trying to catch up now. We're going with Jed. Where's Jed?
Hello, sir.
Take the wheel unless you want to. But if not,
No, I
trying
don't
to
want.
catch up with time, yeah.
Yeah, my name's Jed Sobrano, 22 years old, 117, and I've been busy with what's that? I've been busy with online journalism because like my cousin wants us to get into it, so trying that out first before.
And online journalism means you're actually a published writer already with an
Hell no, I'm just a helper.
Okay. What kind of help are you doing? Specifically, are you a field reporter of some sort? Do you go into administration or? Anything in the editorial?
I proofread all the stuff and I
Proofread.
double check the facts. Yeah, it's a sports event, so it's not that difficult, I guess, as long as you're into the
Okay,
sport.
so you're very good in sports. You know a
No,
lot of
sir.
sports facts. Yeah.
I watch a lot of sports. I
Yeah.
can't say that I'm very good.
Okay, but you're keen. You're interested, and that's why. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And just to ask, where are you now?
Result I typo.
Okay, very good.
Yeah,
Not that far.
not that far, but yeah.
So online journalism is like it could be a career, and CDA could also help you in understanding at least how foreign policies are made. Yeah.
Yes po. Unlikely though po kasi I want to get a real job. So
Right. No. I mean, look, I'm actually currently a diplomat, so I'd like for everybody. We're talking about what, 24 people in class or 25 people in class to all be diplomats. And if I can help you becoming one, I will do so. But if you have other goals and dreams, I definitely wish you the best in your goals and dreams. Again, if there's something I can do to help you on that, that's also great. But of course, I'm in a different field. So yeah, that's a good start, at least for online journalism, if that's what you wanna do in life.
yes, sir.
Very good. So I think we also have a volunteer after Jed. That would be Clarence. Clarence, you there? Technical problems, maybe?
Sir, he said his mic isn't working.
Okay, Clarence, we're just gonna skip. We're gonna call for Regina first, okay? Regina. You first, and then Clarence once he's fixed his mic.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Regina. What shall I call you?
I'm Regina Pelante. People usually call me Reg. I am 118. Wait, is my video on? I think it
We
is.
can hear you. You're good. You're fine. Everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 21 years old. I'm currently staying here in Manila, but I'm originally from Calibo, Aklan. During this quarantine, I started my own online business, and just the fact I just recovered from COVID-19.
Oh, okay, but very light, I hope.
Yes, sir.
Many symptoms, I hope.
Yes, sir. All is good naman.
And I hope you didn't infect other people. It's okay. Right?
No.
Okay.
I'm in quarantine here in Manila po.
You had to self-isolate even within your, okay, where you're living right now. So actually with Ms., that makes you two business women. Your online business, and Ms. had her small business as well, right? So we've got, yeah, entrepreneurs in our group. Did I actually catch what your online business is about?
I'm selling sir, accessories. They're a high quality but affordable accessories po.
Like you mean,
sir?
I'm sorry, you said accessories. What kind? Like
Yes.
for hair or for?
No, sir, jewelries po.
What's that? Sorry, again, I didn't catch that.
Jewelries po,
Jewelry.
sir.
Okay, so fancy jewelry, right? Okay. Well, good luck with that, because we all need it. We all need for small businesses to actually grow. Thanks very much, Reg. Then I think Clarence is okay now. Should Clarence be ready with your microphone? Please, Clarence. Not yet. Anyone wants to step in while we're still waiting for Clarence? There's a very difficult name to pronounce here, and I'll call her out. Rachele.
Hi, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. It's a very long name. It looks Welsh.
Yeah, it's Rachel Gail Lorraine Bernados.
Okay.
But you can call me Lay for short.
Lay.
ID 118. I am currently located in Cavite. And My internet is very unstable, sir. So I'm sorry if sometimes you won't able to hear me or
No worries.
so
You're
yeah.
getting through fine. We're not gonna go on camera, so it's okay.
Yes,
Just
sir.
voice is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so this quarantine I've been doing nothing. Honesty. Yes. I've just been watching Netflix and series and that stuff.
Well,
So
actually,
yeah, I'm looking forward to our class po.
that's not nothing. You're actually watching something, right? So
Yeah.
at least you're getting entertained and perhaps even learning something in the process. A lot of programs
Yes,
nowadays are
sir.
actually very well done. So you learn a lot from Netflix as long as you remember them.
Yes, sir.
So no, but also we all have coping mechanisms. Okay, so what I'd like to do, and I was gonna go tell you about it later on, is that I want to create no judgment space. Okay, so when we're having class,
Yeah.
it's mainly because I don't want you to judge me, but it's also because I want us to all take a break. You guys have your class the entire day. You come probably even tired if you've had other things, other online classes. So we just want to have this hopefully final activity for the day for you, at least, you know, and not as stressful as, and as actually, I think it was Erica who asked, we should go easy on everybody. Yeah. So don't worry about, don't apologize for not doing anything. Lay. We're
Yes,
good to
sir.
that.
Thank you,
Yeah?
sir.
Okay, very good. Next, who's that? We're still waiting for Clarence, really. Clarence is the most in-demand person at the moment. I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna like turn off my mic and then be in demand. I'm joking. Who's next if Clarence is not gonna go on? Elan, Isabel? I'm actually running through the alphabet now. Is it Elan? Elan?
Hi, sir. It's Alan.
Oh, it's Alan, is it? Okay. Hi. How should we call you?
Alan or Lan for short.
Okay, that's a good. Yeah, actually, Elan is actually French. You know that, right?
Yeah.
It's a good word in French. It means a certain panache, a certain verb. If you have Elan. But anyway, Alan. So tell us about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alan. I'm 20 years old and I'm from Iloilo City. And during this quarantine, I've learned how to bake. And I'm really passionate about photography. Yeah, that's all.
Choreography, right?
Photography, sir.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought choreography. You know, photography is a wonderful individual, actually very creative field. Do you have your own camera then?
Yes, sir.
Like not a phone, but a camera.
Yeah, a DSLR.
Oh, very good. Maybe eventually, if you're confident enough, one day we'll get to see your photos. We hope.
Sure, sir.
Very good. Thank you, Alan. It's Alan. How do you pronounce again? I don't want to mispronounce.
Alan, sir.
It looks like an A, but it's an E, right? So
Yeah.
just to be sure.
Yes.
Very good, Alan. Thanks. We're still waiting for Clarence. It's I don't know if you're gonna get the joke if I say it's a bit like waiting for Godot. It's a French play by Samuel Beckett. But anyway, maybe it's not funny. So after Alan, we're gonna go now with Raven Mel de Tablan. De Tablan, right?
Hello, sir.
Hi Mel. No, Raven.
Hi, guys. My name is Ravin Melgatablan. You can just call me Mel, so that it's easier to say.
Very good.
I'm 20 years old, and I'm from Bulacan.
What part of Bulacan, Mel? My mom is also.
May Kawayan, Bulacan, sir.
Oh, that's the near Bulacan. You're not San Miguel or
Yes, sir.
anything like that. Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. That's the near. That's practically Manila, Bulacan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. What else you want us to know about you?
Uh, um, I've been doing my passion since the outbreak started, and that is sleeping. I've been sleeping for the whole pandemic.
I like that. That means growth, by the way, growth. And no, seriously, I'm not joking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm growing. I'm still growing, sir.
Actually, I think until 24, theoretically, you can still actually grow up in height, but also strength, right? Strength. So you need that. We all
Yes,
need,
sir.
yeah. Anything else you want us to know?
Uh, uh, that's all, sir. I have nothing to
Okay.
share anymore.
Okay, I'll put here Mel very shy, right? Is that okay?
Sure, sir. That's okay, sir.
I'm joking, yeah? I'm joking.
Ah,
Thank you very much, Mel. Well, I'd like to
thank you,
hear
sir.
from you again in the course of the term, not just from required recitation, but I hope we will have a healthy interaction where we are able to laugh, exchange ideas much more openly if your internet again allows it, so that at least we will enjoy the space. You know, that's what I want. So yeah, thanks, Mel.
Thank you, sir.
Have we had is Clarence still there?
Hello? Am I
Clarence?
still?
No, no, not yet.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Clarence.
Am I still? Oh, thank God. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
oh, bravo,
I'm
bravo.
so sorry. This is the first time my mic broke like
Okay,
this. I
okay.
don't know what happened.
It was my first time to teach and be 10 minutes late to my own class, so it's okay.
Oh God. Well, I apologize again. I had to write my introduction in the
Don't
chat.
worry, read it if you want, if it's
All
easy
right.
to read.
Well, my name's Clarence, the guy who had a delay in introduction. If I'm keeping track of it right, I am a third-year student.
Okay.
Currently, I'm in Noveleta, and I'm 21 years old.
Novaleta is in
Cavite.
Where's Novaleta again? Bulacan? No, Cavite.
It's in Cavite.
Cavite. It's a historic. It's a heroic town, isn't it? I'm sure there was a battle there of some sort.
Oh yeah, there was.
Okay.
Although I'm not too familiar.
Okay. Anything like hobbies? Anything you're doing right now? You want to tell us?
Actually, is it alright if I could spin the wheel? I really like the question.
Go for it. Go spin the wheel. If I thought you're gonna read. I thought it was gonna be a long introduction. Go for the wheel.
What's a book you would recommend to a stranger? My favorite book would be Discipline and Punish by the French philosopher Michel Foucault. I would recommend that to a stranger because it reflects a lot about our modern society. We like to think that it's a king, but it's more complicated than that. Our government system has more subtle forms of subjecting people, and I would like people to be informed of that.
Okay, we're practically strangers, and I like the recommendation. I'm gonna look it up. I know Foucault, but I don't know the title, so that's very good. Thanks very much, Clarence. Definitely worth. Yeah?
Yes.
Anything else?
Nothing. Thank you, and I apologize again.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Everyone, the Philippines is not the best place for internet connectivity. It's not your fault. So yeah, Anna, please. Anna Andrea Gabriel Par. Again, very French sounding.
Hi, sir.
Very Spanish sounding. What's the story, Anna?
I have like 3 people to name me. Anyway, my name is Anna Andrea Gabriel Gaspar. You can call me Gabby. Regarding my name, I have 3 people to name me: my mom, my dad, and my cousin. I don't know why my cousin named me. Fun fact about me, it's not really fun. I love to play with my dogs. I have 7 dogs right now, and it's really hard to feed them because they run away whenever I open the gate. And they follow me whenever I have the food. Sorry, sir?
No, that makes you like Snow White. Gabby and the 7
Gabby,
dogs.
7 dogs. Gabby and the 7 dogs. I am currently in Greenwoods right now. Greenwoods in Pasig. Greenwoods Executive Village.
Okay, yeah.
Another fun fact, my sister actually works in DFA. She's the one who introduced CDA to me.
now trying to find out
She's in
who the
Oka.
Sorry, what's the first name of your sister again?
Fatima.
Okay, I may not know her. But of course, Gaspar last
Okay.
name, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe one day you'll join
Yeah.
her. Hopefully.
I don't know. I might take my master's right after I graduate. I might go to New Zealand. I don't know yet.
You have to be 25 to take the DFA exam. So you can do all of that and still take the exam.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, sure. There are no limits now. It's just that you have to be a certain age minimum because you're going to go up to middle rank immediately. You're going to be mid-career and you're going to be managing people much older than you. So they need a bit of maturity. So they need someone who's 25 at least. 2 years in graduate school or maybe 2 years at work. You guys, I'm gonna give you this talk later on because as I said, I want as many people as possible to take the exam, to pass it, and to become diplomats because it's the best job there ever written. Seriously, simple as that. But anyway, if you change your mind or it's still in your plan, just tell me, Gabby, or anyone else who's interested. Yeah?
All right. Sir.
Okay. Anything else?
All right. Sir. All right. Sir. That's it, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much. Next. After Gabby, who else? I'm gonna call again. It's gonna be a guy. It's a guy. Juan Lorenzo Garciano is Juan here, or maybe he's the one who's.
Hi, sir.
Juan, yeah. How do?
Evening.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nickname. You can't
My
be
name
called
is
either Juan or Lorenzo, right?
yeah. So my name is Juan Lorenzo Gershano. My nickname is Enzo. I'm 20 and I'm currently in Makati.
Yeah. Okay.
We recently just moved here, right? The weekend before quarantine started. So
Right.
we were very lucky. And my hobbies during the quarantine, actually, I've been playing a lot of video games like Call of Duty, Dota 2, stuff like that. And I've also been reading a lot. I read like the book Five People You Meet in Heaven and Tuesdays with Maury.
Oh, classic Mitch album, right?
Yep. And yeah, that's it, sir.
So Enzo, nice Italian sounding name. Lorenzo is also Italian. Where did you move from?
Pasig City, sir.
Where?
Pasig.
Oh, but all the same in Metro Manila, right? So you just moved from Pasig to Makati.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's actually not so different. But that was a planned move without actually thinking of the coronavirus. It just was a coincidence.
Yes, sir. We were planning on moving because since we read a lot, so our contract was expired for the one in Pasig. So we were looking for more homes to go, and we found this one in Makati.
You like Makati?
We used to live here also before, sir.
Oh, very good, very good. No, seriously, Makati is probably one of the best cities. But in any case, everyone loves Pasig now, right? Everyone, because of the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thanks very much, Enzo. Who else? I think we probably have like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So maybe 10 more, 9 more. Who else hasn't taken up his or her turn? Have I called Ashley already? Is Ashley here? Ashley? No. And what about Leslie? Leslie Lee? Leslie was one of the first, I think, to be in the waiting room. So maybe you'd like to introduce yourself, Leslie.
Hello, sir. My name is Leslie Lee, and I'm currently in Manila.
Oh,
and I'm ID 118,
yeah.
21 years old.
Manila is in the city, Manila, right?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Have you always lived in Manila, or did you come from somewhere else?
I live here.
from birth, essentially?
No. I born here, but I'm Chinese. I went back to China when I was 3 years old, and then I came here again when I was 13 years old.
So you're completely fluent in Chinese.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. Amazing. What part of China?
Fujian.
Oh, so Fuzhou, Xiamen.
Xiamen po.
You're from Xiamen, but your Filipino is okay. How's your Filipino language? Tagalog.
No.
Okay.
Not good.
Yeah, but yeah, who else speaks Chinese here? Not too many, right? So bravo, brava, very good. Chinese is a very handy language in the future. Anything else, Leslie, you wanna add? Apart from living in Manila and having lived Xiamen until 13, anything else?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
That's good. So Leslie, we will call you Leslie, right? Very good. So who else has? I'm trying to look down. Is Gene here? Matthew Gene.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi, sir. Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Jean A. Minjola. But my friends and family call me Matt. I was born and raised in Occidental Mindoro, but I transferred here for senior high in Manila. Maybe the thing I want to share is that growing up, I didn't expect to pursue this path of diplomacy
Right.
because I was accustomed to local politics, local government in my province. But when I traveled to Italy, I met the diplomat there, and from that point on, I was intrigued very to this field. So yeah, sir, that's all.
Okay. You mean Filipino diplomat?
Yes, sir.
Who?
I don't remember, sir, but we went to the office of the diplomat in Italy beside the Vatican.
Oh, okay. So it must be the Vatican. Yeah, it's the Vatican Embassy of the Vatican. It's not actually Rome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So okay, that's great to have that kind of inspiration. And in what part
Yes,
of Occidental Mindoro? Normally people are from Oriental, but you're from Occidental.
I'm from San Jose, sir. San Jose Occidental
The
Mindoro.
capital, isn't it?
Oh no, it's Mamburam, sir. Yeah,
San Jose is in the south.
Yes, sir.
Right. I've been there long time ago.
Oh, where, sir? Where have
With
you been?
Governor Josephine Sato. Sato, is it?
Yes, sir. She's my Nina.
Yeah. So way back, I was in Bulalakaw, Mamburao.
Yes, sir.
All those places. Yeah. But yeah, good to know. Thank you, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Running down the list now. Who else hasn't spoken?
Sir, can I go?
Yes, please. Initiative is
Hi.
good.
Hello.
Yes, please. Who are you?
I'm Alexa, sir. Maria Alexa Isabel C. Leonardo. I go by Alexa. ID 118, 21 years old, and from General Trias City of Cavite.
You have a lot of Caviteños.
Yes, I noticed.
Yeah, right? I don't know. It's a
Mhm. Okay, so besides quality time with my family, I like delving into stuff that interests me, such as watching good shows online, singing, baking, working out, and of course, eating. But for now, my main priority is to finish the term in flying colors, hopefully, as well as continue earning through my current side job of selling medical supplies so I can donate more to probable causes and hopefully work towards initiating a donation drive for single parent families that are struggling to get by during these difficult circumstances,
Okay.
but all in due time.
No, that's very noble. You're very accomplished. That's very noble and very admirable that you're doing this. Maybe we can all, I don't know if we're actually gonna get to that point, help you out in volunteer work.
Sure,
I don't know.
sir.
It's a good thing. Yeah, we can all be inspired. Yeah,
Yes,
I'll
I
keep
agree.
that. I'll keep that in mind. But also maybe you can mobilize us one day. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'll I'll keep tabs on that.
Thanks, Alexa.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?
Thank you, sir. No, that's it.
You're good. You're good. Thanks very much, Alexa.
Thank you.
Finally, who else? Maybe I think we probably have, if I'm not mistaken,
Me,
3 more. Yeah.
me, sir.
Yes, please. Who's there?
Hi, everyone. It's Carl, sir.
Carl.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carl Guevara, and I'm ID 118, and I'm also in third year. Uh, I'm a transferee before.
Right.
Currently, I'm not really doing anything aside from online classes.
It's a lot. Are you taking up a lot of classes?
Not really, sir. Just the normal load.
Actually, I'm not familiar what the normal load is. How many would be normal? How many units?
I think, sir, 18 units or 21 units.
That's a lot, isn't it? It sounds like a lot. It's okay.
Yes, sir, pretty much.
Okay, no, that's good. What else would you be doing? If you're actually doing all of that already, then you don't have much time for anything else, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Good start so far. You like your term so far? First day today.
I'm currently adjusting, sir.
Okay. Well, yeah. As I mentioned to everybody, you can always write me if there are concerns. I hope the adjustment you'd have to make for this is not that big, and I hope that be manageable overall. Because obviously, this is not the only class you're taking. We have to look at it in consideration for your other classes. So we have to balance basically because you're all 25. We have to make sure that the highest students and also the ones who are not as high will all be going, maybe not at the same speed, but at least going more or less as a group. And that's what I'd like for this class. And I don't want, as a first-time teacher, I actually don't know how far I'm gonna push you guys. If you want extra work because you're doing splendidly, you can just approach me. But if in general people think it's very slow, you can also definitely approach me. But in general, still I'm kind of feeling the way and the pace of the class. We're going a little bit slow, okay? So we're gonna go faster. The more I'm confident everyone's doing the readings and everyone's doing the work. So that's very good, Carl. 18 units is a lot. 21 units. Anyone else who hasn't yet spoken, so we can actually get to know you? I'm trying to see who else. Yes, please.
Yes. Hi, I'm Aryan Joyce Chidi. You
Is
can
it
call me Aryan.
Ariane, right?
Yes. Yes, you can call me Aryan. And I'm 21 years old and I'm
Right.
from Parañaque City. And currently I'm working or helping in Department of Employment, Labor and Employment.
You're working there.
No, not really working, but helping.
Helping, yeah, okay. Is that an
Yes.
internship of some sort? No.
It's because of my dad, actually.
Okay, because your
I'm
dad.
helping him proofreading documents.
Okay, so a lot of documents right now because of the unemployment, maybe.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, super.
Talking about domestic employment, are you also talking overseas?
Yes, overseas and here also.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Actually, reading that trains your Yeah, it's good activity. What have you learned from this particular focus?
A lot actually. A lot of problems, a lot of recommendations.
You know that's one
I see.
aspect of the work as a diplomat, right? In the DFA at least.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe not in other countries, but in the DFA, that's actually one important aspect. So you're kind of getting a head start, and that could be a basis for you to one day also take up diplomatic a career, if you like.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Anything else, Ariane?
No, that's all.
I just noticed you don't have a photo. You have to put one.
Sir, I have.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about.
I have a.
I'm not talking about. I was actually thinking of your. I'm looking at your Big Sky, but I guess everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in Big Sky. Sorry, I was looking at the Big Sky list, but I think everyone here in. Well, we still have Regina and Jed not having photos. You guys have to put one. Leslie as well doesn't have one. Who else? Practically everyone has. And Lay, Lee, is it Lay, right? Lay doesn't have one either. So yeah, basically, but apart from that, everyone has a photo. And I think probably we have maybe one more? Is that everybody? Has everyone spoken? Has Regina spoken already, right? Vince, is Vince here?
Yes, sir.
Vince, yeah.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
So hi, sir. My name is Vince Christian Villanueva. You can call me Vince. Currently 21 years old, and I'm residing here in Antipolo City. And my hobbies includes mainly in swimming, but since the quarantine, I haven't seen the pool for quite a long time. So yeah.
So you're a good swimmer?
Uh, I don't think so, but most of my friends say that I do.
Okay. Speed or more stability? What is it? Maybe
Uh,
do you race? Swim?
yes, sir.
Race swimming? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but it's not good now, right? I think pools are going to be one of the last things to open, especially with the possibility.
Actually, sir, it's already open, but our coaches advise us not to use the pool.
Okay, you're talking about where you live, right? We have a pool.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I think that should be good advice. If there's any chance until the vaccine, to be honest, don't risk it, right? That's what I say. So actually, I need the class to say yes because we're still at this stage. Maybe I think we still have. Has James actually said anything? James says, "Are you finished, James?" Because I'm trying to count who else hasn't spoken. Anyone else hasn't spoken? Running up the list now. Clarence. So okay, seems like everybody. So I'd like to right. Everybody's spoken, right? Good. If everybody has, and I think that's pretty much it. What I'm going to do now is ask for an extension of you guys, just because I was also late 10 minutes, but also just to give you a little bit of, so basically that's the icebreaker. And I think really we can all perhaps give a good clap for each one of us. I really do hope I didn't miss anyone. If anyone, this is basically the last chance for anyone to speak out who hasn't spoken yet. No. Okay. Going. The window is closed. Okay. So for today, basically that's it. And we technically have 2 minutes left, but I'd like to ask everybody if it's okay to extend, just so that we could round up not just housekeeping and maybe give you a bit of instructions on what to do with the materials I'm gonna give out, because I wouldn't want you to go unsupervised. Also, it's very simple to just read about it, but I'd like you to at least know what it's about. So we'll flip this slide and we're gonna go now to at least my expectations. Now, apart from teaching Philippine foreign policy and trying to impart to you some of my experiences as a practicing diplomat, I've had, as I mentioned in the video, 21 years now. I'd also like to take this opportunity, precious opportunity, to impart to you also my values. I don't believe that being instructor means that we're going to be completely neutral. I do believe that, especially the reason why I'm in government is that I really wanted to, my father told me that we're middle class, you should give back to society. So if it were just to be something that I would want, if it were just to be something that doesn't rise above my own interest, then I may have gone on something else, another line of work. I was already working in Japan, in fact, before I quit my job there and came back to the Philippines. But the whole idea that why I took up this work of actually trying to lecture is that I do believe that you, as young people, have an opportunity, and I've heard how old you are, the youngest being like 20, mostly a lot of you are 20, 21. But regardless, you could be like older than that, but not my age. What I'm talking about is you have such opportunities in the future. And I do hope, because I do believe in the power of an individual to change things. And if you believe in your own power to change things, regardless if you said that you didn't do anything, it doesn't matter. You are not judged for what you did or did not do during the pandemic. You could have like been an overachiever, that's fine as well. But you could have just relaxed, because it's this time in the period of your life, at this moment of your life, that you needed that. And your body needed that. So as I said earlier on, I want our classes, and it's only 6 sessions after this, at least where I'd be speaking. The rest of it would be pre-recorded or like readings and whatnot, where I'm not going to be able to reach out to you in this manner. And I do believe it's a platform that I have, and it's a privileged platform to be able to impart to you some of my values. And one of that already, as I told you, is that let's not be judgmental. We'd like to accept everyone for who they are and what they believe in, unless those beliefs, of course, are harming other people. I'd like to say that at least in that particular space, at least where we are, we should be given an opportunity to say and do what we're able to do. And I think if we give people space, I think that freedom normally people would use to the best of their abilities to actually justify their lives, their existence. We're alive here. It could be that we're going to be alive for just such a short moment. I have friends who passed away like at age 37, some even younger. But some of us would probably live until 70 or 80, God willing, right? But the main point is that you could live for like 30 years, or you could live to 100. But it's not actually about the length of time. It's really about the values and the quality of life you should make that time that you have put in and improve things for other people. So for me, that's basic in this class. And the rest, whatever knowledge we impart, basically anything now is Googleable. I'm just your facilitator and your guide. Hopefully make things a little bit easier for you to put things together. But I can see from this class, you are all very smart. So actually the facilitating part is just so that to motivate you, to be able to kind of make you move forward. So that's where the student expectations are supposed to come. And I'm actually doing overtime here. Is that I would like you to be curious. People who are curious would stay young forever because you want to know. You're not satisfied with not knowing. When you see things that maybe you don't know the explanation for, you'd grab a book or you look it up, or you'd ask somebody. You'd admit to a friend or somebody who you respect in authority that you don't know and you're curious, but you want to know. So that's what I want. Curiosity, diligence, par for the course. That just means working hard. I want you to work hard. It's not about the grades here. If I can see that you work hard, we might not get all the answers that we need at that particular moment you're being asked for the answers. But I want you to work hard. And if I can see that, you're going to get minimum the kind of grade that you're not going to regret with me, okay? Energy, because you're young. I mean, what do you use your energy for? You're young. So that's what I expect. Also an initiative. As I told you, incentive, initiative. I want you to take the initiative and not waiting for things to happen, because as it is, there's a moment for things to happen. There's also a moment where you choose, where you're able to give yourself and you're able to give that moment the best time that you have. And that's actually when you feel most ready and you take the initiative. Perhaps it's the best you'll ever get. And actually that's a moment that you choose. And then another one, the last one, can't see my own slide, is What is in the slide? Sorry, can we have the slide so I can see my own slide?
Sir, sorry, my computer crashed.
Okay, sorry about that. I have it somewhere. But so basically, yeah. I wanted that from you so that I know I have it somewhere. Diligence, initiative, did I say creativity? From myself, we're gonna have that computer rebooted very soon. Thanks very much, Stephanie. Stephanie is assisting me. Otherwise, it'd be like mentally, technically very challenging to do all of this at the same time, to speak, to think, chew gum, and walk at the same time. Kind of difficult. But basically, I'm trying to look now at my notes because it's kind of lost. Okay. So I also expect what you can expect from me, because that's actually a point, second point in the PowerPoint, the slides, is that you can expect from me experience. Again, I'm not going by how would you say that, alphabetical order. Experience because of my age. Guidance and care, because that's what I'm supposed to do as a facilitator. Motivation, I'm supposed to encourage you. I have to like make sure that you guys are not feeling a bit down because you're in this class and you're just wasting your time, but at the same time, because I'm being too demanding, I hope not, but at the same time, you feel inspired that you want to do actually more. So there's a minimum that I'm expecting from you, but if you feel you want to do more, you can volunteer for it. But if everybody thinks we're going too slow, then I have to raise the level for everyone. That means it's not just one or a couple of people who are probably excelling more than the others. It's probably most of you that's just going farther and beyond my expectations. So I also want some kind of feedback from you on that. And then I think on the expectations that we'd like to have of each other, essentially 5 from you, 5 from me, and we're gonna have the slide very soon, and 5 that we expect from each other. I'd like you to be honest, most of all, because not everything is perfect, and as imperfect people, I am very imperfect, even at my age, still trying to practice to become a human, each day a little bit more perfect as a human being, but we're imperfect, so we just have to be honest. But honesty that I need to know. Don't be honest about things that have nothing to do about this class or me as your facilitator. That's for your friends or for your parents. But otherwise, I want you to be honest, at least with the work that we're trying to do here. I'd like you to be imaginative. Don't go for, as we call it in Spanish or even in Filipino, de cajon, right? The very typical. Don't be very typical. Be very unique. Go for something weird and something unique and something maybe you can justify, something even a bit more fun. In trying to solve or trying to interpret, analyze Philippine foreign policy, you may have read it and it's factually based, but it may be completely, you didn't do the readings. You're going into a sync session and for the life of you, you just didn't do it, but I've called you because it's assessment time. Then answer me, and then answer me because you think why, how, and I'll give you points for the effort. Most seriously, the imagination is what we need right now from all of you. So if you can answer me, even if it didn't really happen in history or in the past, definitely, yeah, maybe we can do it in the future, a solution that you're proposing, okay? And discernment means being able to know right from wrong. So as adults, because all of you are at the very least adults, I'm not talking about adults in the Japanese sense where you're 21. I think 20 for Japanese, Philippines, I think 21. Once you're 18, you're basically an adult. So I expect everyone to have discernment and to know what is wrong and what is right from wrong. And moderation, we want to create, sorry, I actually now remember what the other factor the quality I expect from you guys is openness. Meaning openness of spirit, openness of ideas. Because you're young, I don't want you to get hemmed in and have fixed ideas because that's not the time. Even at my age, I'm not fixed. I'm still open. And I think, I really do think that basically it's necessary for us to entertain opposing views. Some of you, and I really do hope so, might be progressive or liberal, but some of you might be conservative, but that's not anything, I would respect that as long as you know why you're conservative or why you're liberal or why you're progressive. Mostly we do that from the points of views of our parents or people we respect. But eventually when you grow older, you're gonna have to have better reasons why you choose the values that you have, why you have the philosophy you have. So essentially, I'd like you, even though it's just a Philippine foreign policy course, to kind of get those values as well. And in the interactions we're gonna have, hopefully you'd also get to impart to me what your values are. So we'd get to know each other. And I think honesty is the way to go, honestly. And I think, yeah, that's the kind of space I want to create. Now, basically, I don't know if we have the slides. Steph, you think the slides are coming up anytime?
Sorry, I'm still starting up.
No, okay. Because I'm not a I don't have a photographic memory. Essentially,
I sent you the slides also, so you can refer to them.
Sorry, what?
I sent the slides to your messenger, so you can refer.
Right, I can open the slides in my messenger. Okay, very good. So at least trust me on this. I think it's gonna go up. The slides are probably gonna go up as well. That's right, Steph. The slides are gonna go up. So yeah, just house rules. I think you can refer to the netiquette that I've put up, but just to verbally tell you guys, you were on time, I was not on time, but please be on time. And please inform me in advance about your absences. If you're not able to inform me on time, at least write that email after to like tell me for whatever reason why you're not able to attend the synchronous class. We're not going to be strict so much about attendance. I'm still monitoring it, but the reason for me valuing your attendance is so that you can stitch up everything together. Synchronous alone will not make your understanding complete. It actually has to be a combination of both. So the synchronous, you can do it on your own, and you can obviously watch the videos afterwards. But if this very moment, say like this is a recording and you're listening to me, and you wanted to ask me a question because something came up from what I'm saying, because you're not here, you're not going to be able to ask me. But if you were here, you can just turn on that mic and ask me. That's what the freedom of synchronous is about. So I want you to be there not for the grades, but because of the value that synchronous gives to all of us. And I already mentioned the photos. So yeah, I'll just take this opportunity before kind of closing, because we can't really go too far, too much, because we're already 22 minutes way past time. Any questions you'd like to ask or clarify?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please. Sorry, I'm not seeing who's speaking right now.
Barreiro, sir. Clarence.
Is it Clarence?
Clarence.
Hi, Clarence. Yeah, you're on.
I would like to have like a crash course on Philippine foreign policy. Is there like a book we would be using in this subject, or something?
I'll try to, because all the old books are actually old, literally old. We're talking about 85, 93. Even I had to look them up. Some of them are still valid, but at least my experience tells me which among those books are no longer valid. And for that reason, it's okay for me to have those books, but I can't give them to you because you might read them and take them as Bible truth. The problem is, from 85 or 93 or 98, a lot of things have changed. Some of them are still truths, and I would like to guide you. But evidently, yes, there are no books on Philippine foreign policy per se. A lot of them are specific to the topics that we're going to go over. Like, for example, the independent foreign policy of the Duterte administration, the tribunal ruling the case that President Benigno Aquino tried to put through, why he did that. That's also a case study that we're going to go over. The Arroyo administration, which was initially pro-US and then became kind of pro-China. Very interesting, and of course, very interesting in the fact that it's a 9-year presidential administration. So all throughout that, there's going to be like the theory, which is based also in foreign policy in general, but also we're gonna like put that in the case where Philippine foreign policy is like in. So you've got global theory, and then apply it to the Philippines, which is basically classic developmental state, because a lot of foreign policy books are written for the United States, for like Canada, Great Britain. They really don't apply. The problem with Philippine foreign policy books is they go too much into the specific details and the policies themselves. So there's not a good mix of theory on foreign policy itself and then applying those theories into practice. So I'm gonna give you readings, and what you could do is make sure that those readings are read. Right now, I was advised to give you handouts, but if you want the original readings, I can give them to you. So that the handouts are summarizations, still given in complete sentences, but it's meant to be digestible so that you can study and do the homework for all your other classes without being too burdened in this one. But at the same time, you guys can find that very boring and incomplete. So if you want, Clarence, I can send you the original articles by email or put it up on Big Sky so everyone can download. I just didn't want to do it in advance because I didn't want to burden you for our first meeting. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. I like that.
Okay. So given the fact that we're kind of late, I didn't do a lot of things. I was just basically able to do housekeeping. For the next session after this, it's supposed to be topic 1, basic concepts. Supposed to be actually the next session 2. We didn't even actually complete session 1 because I was supposed to deliver a verbal explanation of what part of session 1 of basic concepts and terms. So I'm going to give you the presentation for that. And there's also going to be a leaflet or a handout. Just read it. And again, if there are questions about the terms, because there are some competing terms, some terms that are defined by some political scientists in one way, and on the other, they might say otherwise. So I could run them over the next session if you want. But there's also the part where, and I wanted to give you that, is that we're talking about nations. And I kind of touched on it as actors, because there's a certain presumption that foreign policy is exercised by nations. So I'll go over that very quickly, and it's called the basis for foreign policy. Why is it nation states or governments or countries? Those are the terms that we use. We use them rather interchangeably and rather lightly, but actually no, there are specific differences to them. So I'll give you the readings. There'll be 3 readings in all. One is just 1 page, basically a newspaper article. I could probably give you the original for that. A couple more. One is by a Chinese analyst, and another one is by somebody from a political scientist from De La Salle University, Renato de Castro. Very good one, and I work with him from time to time. He also has an analysis from 2010 on the different choices that the Aquino administration had, and whether those choices were actually affected in discontinuing or continuing the policy of the previous administration. Now, the Chinese, his name is Jia. The Chinese analysis compares Thailand and the Philippines in why those 2 different countries were not comparable. It's not comparative policy, but it's a good way to compare why the Philippines is different from another Asian country, supposedly with the same qualities of a developmental state. So if you can read the handouts for that, perfect, that's the minimum. If you want to get the articles for it, please ask me, or I'll probably post on Big Sky. Now, what I will try to do, of course, apart from that is, like today, we had the spin a wheel thing, is I'll also try to have in the next 6 other synchronous sessions to have a little bit of interaction, because if we don't, we're gonna get rusty. Not speaking out and not actually like turning on your mics or turning on your cameras is probably not good for social interaction. You're not required, but at least if there's an opportunity, then we're gonna have that opportunity come up and open. So at least we will get to know each other as people. And with that, hopefully more enjoyable sessions, more interaction, and essentially, yeah, just all in all, what you would call a light class, a class that you're not going to have to feel is such a burden with all the classes, other classes that you're taking. But minimum, I want you to come out here with a bit of learnings, and feel free to ask me questions. So essentially, that's it for today. I kind of went overboard, essentially 30 minutes, even with a 10-minute delay that we had in opening the class. That's 20 minutes over. Yeah, I'd like to give the floor to anybody else who might have a question, apart from Clarence, who asked that perfectly good one. Or even chat, if you want to use the chat box sometimes, that's also useful. Yeah. Stephanie, anything else I'm missing on?
No. May I make an
announcements? Yeah.
So the class can expect that this introduction and the recordings can be uploaded to Big Sky. So even though it crashed just now, you'll still be able to access it through Big Sky once we upload it later. And you'll also go back to rewatch the videos in case you missed anything due to interruptions in your internet and so on. So if there's any questions, you can just forward them to either of us.
And thanks very much, Steph. We have Big Sky. I actually don't know how to use that, but I heard some people are using it very interactively. So this is the thing. I want Facebook to be, say, like the unmonitored space, and it's going to be freer, I hope, so that you'll feel at the very least in progression, Facebook the freest, most open, and then eventually make Big Sky also kind of active. So I'd be able to share you things there that are not graded, absolutely not, on Facebook, just something interesting that may be food for thought. It may or may not be related to Philippine foreign policy, tangentially related. It could be foreign policy or international relations in general that may connect, that you may read, and maybe in the end, probably have use for it in the future. Now, as far as exams, I think there was supposed to be an explanation that I'm not supposed to give you exams. Okay, I'm not supposed to give, there's no finals, I think. There are no final exams, but I am expecting a term paper. And the term paper, as I'd like to make it a bit more substantial, I'd like to have it at least 5 to 7 pages text and with bibliographic. I don't know yet what themes I'm gonna assign, but at least have it in mind that I'm going to ask you for that. And it could be a choice of certain themes that I'd want you to develop, and maybe all of you would have different answers for the same theme. Or maybe say like 5 themes that I'd like you to sign up on, and I'd like to know your views about it. I also would like to invite you, and I'm gonna post you in, because we're having my office at the DFA is the Maritime and Ocean Affairs office, and we're having this month the Maritime and Archipelagic Nation Awareness Month. So there'll be a few activities I'd like you to attend. It's purely voluntary, but if you do attend, I'm gonna note it down so that if in the future your grades are not perfect, a 4 is a perfect, isn't it? Or a 5 is a perfect. If you're not perfect, your grades are not perfect, those could go for additional credits to the grade. So I'm gonna give out some of these activities as additional credits, just in case for some reason or other in some of your evaluations you don't reach the grade that you want to make that dean's list or whatever, or the scholarship or whatever. You're gonna get extra credits if you go for some of these activities that are related to Philippine foreign policy. Okay? Yeah? And please liberally use the thumbs up and the so that I know you guys are still there and not yet sleeping. Very good. Thanks. So actually, all in all, not such a bad session. It's just that we ran out of time. And please advise, I think most everybody was here for the first Synchronous session. If anyone missed out, please tell them that the recording will be put on as soon as we cut the first part that was where we weren't able to operate. And that's it, essentially. We're not going to see each other until 2 weeks from now. But we're going to be giving the readings for next week, which will be on 3 pillars of the foreign policy, the 9 realities, and a lot of other basics. So we're launching ourselves into the main topic for the Synchronous session next week. Very good.